I want people to understand what's going on in this issue. The Nigerian Bar Association is responsible for the regulation of the conduct of the 12,000 plus legal practitioners in the country. There, as you would expect for a profession, there is a code of professional conduct. Those rules are made by the Bar Council and are supposed to be reviewed and amended as parts of the Bar Council's responsibility for the management of the affairs of the Nigerian Bar Association. What has happened is this, that the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice has purported to amend those rules of professional conduct in a very interesting way. One of the amendments that I've noted purports to remove the prohibition on a lawyer in court, if asked as to whether he is up to date as far as his practicing fees are concerned. The prohibition that prevents him from saying, yes, they are up to date, when in fact they are not, i.e. prohibits him from lying about whether his practice certificate fees are up to date or not. The Attorney General purports to have deleted that prohibition, with the corollary being that lawyers are now licensed to lie about whether their practice and certificate fees are up to date or not. It also seeks to remove the provision which requires that any lawyer who has establishes a law firm to inform the Nigerian Bar Association of the details of that new legal practice, i.e. the location, the number of partners, and the identity of the partners in the firm. It means that somebody can set up or prepare to set up as a law firm, all by himself or herself, without being accountable to anybody whatsoever. This, in my assessment, appears to be a backdoor way by the Attorney General to lend support to the move for the creation of what has been termed the new Nigerian Bar Association, which in actual fact should be better understood as the Northern Nigeria Bar Association. Viewers may remember that the background to this was the disinvitation of the governor of Kaduna State in the light of the ongoing killings in that state and the governor's rather dismissive attitude to the tragedy that has taken hold of the people who he's responsible for. He was originally invited to address the Nigerian Bar Association at its annual conference at the end of August. As a result of the public outrage about Governor El-Rufai's conduct, that invitation was withdrawn. He was disinvited. In response to that, a number of members of the Bar Association who are of northern extraction decided that they were going to decamp, secede, if you like, of the Nigerian Bar Association of northern origin, who are saying we're going to set up our own. And if then you look at what this Attorney General purports to be doing, or purports to have done, he has effectively said that those people cannot be challenged as to whether they've paid their practice and certificate fees to the Nigerian Bar Association. He has also purported to exempt them from the requirement to inform the Nigerian Bar Association of their establishment of their law firm and the details of it. Now, the more fundamental point is, that is fundamental in itself, the chaos that then ensues, because if that is the case, are those lawyers under the new arrangements that the Attorney General appears to have licensed, are they eligible to practice anywhere in the country? Mm-hmm. Such that you have some lawyers who are obeying the standards, the existing standards of the Nigerian Bar Association, paying their practicing certificate fees, undertaking continuous legal education, who are renewing their practicing certificates each year. And then you have another group of lawyers who are basically running freestyle. That simply cannot work. But another point that arises is this: the Attorney General doesn't actually have the power to do what he has done. The power to make the rules regulating the conduct of legal practitioners in Nigeria under the Legal Practitioners Act 1990 is not vested in the Attorney General by himself. It is vested in the Bar Council. And the composition of the Bar Council is made up of 57 people, of which the Attorney General is only one person. The other members of the Bar Council are the other 36 Attorney Generals of the states of the Federation, and in addition, 20 members of the Nigerian Bar Association itself. So we have a situation where the law says 57, a body of 57, of which, in order for their meeting to be valid, regular and legal, and any decision that they make to be of legal effect, at least 8 of them must be present at the meeting at which that decision or those decisions are taken.
Just
this
8 out of
not happen.
Just 8 out of the 57.
8 minimum.
Okay, minimum.
That's the quorum.
Which means somehow he can potentially be able to get the 8 people into any of his meeting and get it approved.
In theory, but of course he has to give notice to the 57 of the fact that the meeting is going to take place. What the law is saying is that you must give notice to the 57, and here they are. But nobody can challenge the legality of what is done at that meeting if out of the 57, at least 8 people attend and participate in that meeting.
Right.
What has happened appears to be that the Attorney General has not done that. He has sat in his office and decided to take the initiative by himself unilaterally. Now, I hear the argument that has been aired that, well, he is following a precedent that was set by a previous Attorney General, Chief Bayo Ojo, when these rules were introduced in the first instance. And I've looked at the rules and I can see that appears to have been precisely what Chief Bayo Ojo did at that time. So it's worrying for Nigerians when the chief law officers, senior advocates of Nigeria, both of them, attorney generals of the Federation, both of them, ministers of justice, both of them, who ought to know when the rules of professional conduct, which our current Attorney General is purporting to amend, when they were introduced, Bayojo, who was the Attorney General at the time, appears also to have done it in the same way. That's from what I can see. And the argument is, well, he did it, so therefore I can do it. Well, that's nonsense. Any child will tell you, you don't need to go to law school to understand that the law is the law. We are supposed to be operating a system which everybody understands as the rule of law. Means that things are done in accordance with law, because that's the only way you're going to get civilized conduct. If everybody can just do whatever they want, that presents a serious problem for the country and potentially for investors as well. Which investors will come along if they can see the Attorney General doing things however he wishes and not bothering to check the law? It's even worse than that, because when I checked the relevant provision that they person to be relying upon. This is section 12, subsection 4 of the Legal Practitioners Act. That section has got nothing to do with amending rules of professional conduct. It's actually a section dealing with disciplinary issues. So if we can't get those basics right, it reflects very badly on the country. We start with the rule of law. Is it lawful? Is it valid? The answer is that it is not. That whatever they seek to do, there is a proper way to do it. They need to go back to the drawing board. They need to convene a meeting of the Nigerian Bar Council and give due notice to all the people who are supposed to participate in the decision. And then there can be an intelligent discussion as to what should be done or what should not be done. It doesn't mean that they can't set up their Northern Nigerian Bar Association. It's, as I said, there's enough space for everybody, but things have to be done properly and in the right way.
Going forward, what then will you like to see them do in the next coming week or so between the actual NBA? Well, somehow the NBA would be there somehow, but at least between the actual people, which is the NBA and the Ministry of Justice in Nigeria under the minister.
Well, the starting point is that both sides, and especially the Attorney General of the Federation and the Minister of Justice, both sides have to recognize that this is messy, that this does not reflect well on our legal systems, especially with outside and foreign investors looking in, that the mess has to be cleared up urgently. There has to be a meeting of the Bar Council, and those, whatever changes are being proposed, need to be tabled, need to be discussed as a matter of urgency. There's a new chairman of the Nigerian Bar Association in place. That meeting needs to be convened as an emergency meeting to clean up the mess.